Martial arts training can be a hobby, it can be a sport. It's also a lifestyle for those who choose to live it. I certainly like to think of my martial arts training as a lifestyle. And lifestyles, they all have to start with a certain mindset. So let me give you some thoughts on mindset today. Now we are all susceptible to propaganda. I think it is naive to think that you can always spot propaganda and that it won't have any effects on you. One, you probably can't spot all types of propaganda. Two, even if you can spot it, it can affect the way that you think. You're not immune to it. All it takes is repetition, and it will begin to infest your mind, whatever it is. Now that can be good, that can be bad. Propaganda isn't necessarily a bad thing if you use it to help yourself. So if you constantly promote a way of viewing the world that's positive, a positive outlook, that's useful propaganda. Why? Well, even if it's not exactly realistic, you're probably going to take hold of more opportunity if you think of the world as a place of abundance rather than a place of collapse, a place of danger, a place where anything could fall apart at any moment, which it's true, but it's also false. It depends on the way that you look at it, right? So we're all susceptible to propaganda. Think about what you're feeding your brain and how much are you feeding it. Sure, it's good to know about what's going on in the world, but if you spend your days constantly consuming the news cycle, no matter what side of the spectrum you're on, they're going to feed you bad news, a lot of bad news. Why? It sells, it gets more clicks. And that negativity, if left unchecked, will seep into your mind. So, I'm not saying ignore what's going on in the world. What I'm saying is, be careful what you're putting in your brain and how much of it you're putting in your brain. For every moment you spend consuming bad news, maybe spend double the time thinking positively about something, learning a new skill. That ultimately, I think, will serve you much better. And of course, this is true in your martial arts training. That ability to frame and think positively will get you a lot further. When you start sparring, you're going to lose a lot. You will lose in class, you will lose in tournaments, because you don't know what you're doing. Now, you can frame that as a bad thing, or you can frame it as a learning experience. Every single person who beats you is your teacher, and I'm grateful, and you should be grateful that they are teaching you something new about yourself and how to function. If you view it like that, then you'll improve. If you view it as though you've been defeated every single time, you'll quit. So you can see it's all about the framing. Be careful what you put into your brain. Put in more of the good stuff than the bad stuff.